Hi there, my name is Teagan Litton. I haven't posted on this channel in actually fucking forever, but I think my spark is coming back, so I'm back as well. I graduated college in 2023 and since then I've just been traveling and volunteering. I found out about this app called Worldpackers. No, this isn't sponsored, but I do have a code because I've used them so much. My code is Teagan and you can use it for I think 10% or maybe even 20% off. I know there's Worldpackers and there's another one, but basically it's an app where you can see all of these different volunteer opportunities where you can stay for free and work for free. But it's really nice if you're fresh out of college, and I have had so many people reach out to me asking questions, so I'm gonna make a series about every single individual volunteer experience that I've done, and I've done a lot. I did bartending in Costa Rica. I worked on this is just funny to say, but I worked on a horse ranch in Guatemala. I worked at a puppy rescue or a dog rescue in Portugal. I worked at just a hostel in Germany. So there's so many different options. It's actually insane. This is gonna give you all the tea on it. The biggest thing I would say is to read the reviews, because before we had ever went on one, we found one in Costa Rica and it was in Jaco, like J-A-C-O, and there wasn't that many reviews, but we had been talking with the owner, the guy. He was like, yeah, it's cool, whatever. A month before we were supposed to go, we ended up talking to another volunteer that had been staying there, and she had nothing good to say about it. Sexual stuff from him that's not okay. I don't know how his house was still even on Worldpackers. So read the reviews, because we almost went to a place that would have been really dangerous for us and there would have been no way of knowing. So I would recommend talking to someone who's already been at the place before going, because that's what we did. We reached out to her and she told us, don't come here. And we were like, okay, we won't. So then we had to find a whole nother one, and that kind of changed the trajectory of our first volunteering experience. I basically went through all of my pictures and videos I have from the first experience, and then I made a list on my iPad of everything I wanted to talk about so I don't leave anything else. So let me get her out of the case so she's cute. Anyways, pink iPad. All right. Actually, I had so much to say because this was probably my favorite volunteer experience that we did, and I did all of these with my best friend Sydney. If you have someone out of college or just a best friend who has the same interests and morals as you, I would definitely recommend doing it, because having a best friend there made it 10 times better to be able to experience all of these amazing things with them. Or if you have a boyfriend or girlfriend or whatever, you know, that works too. But so the very first job I did was in Puerto Viejo in Costa Rica, and it was at the hostel called El Clan. And welcome. We are here at the bar. This is my first day bartending. Super excited. As you can see, we don't have a lot of options on our shelves, but one thing we can make is smoothies. So we made a pineapple smoothie earlier. We also have some beer in our fridge over there. Imperial. We have 4 types of beer, so you can get any type you'd like. And that's it. We don't have any food. We have a nice sink over here to wash hands. It's very clean here. As you can see, we have some guests. And show my videographer.
3, 2, 1.
This is my videographer. This is my roommate. And we're going to be updating you along with the process. I started my shift at 3. I get off at 8 every 5 days a week. So stay along. Bartender slash cleaner. So me and Sydney, we would take turns obviously with the schedule, and one of us would do bartending for 5 hours a day and the other one would do cleaning. The cleaning was actually, it was actually just the easiest job ever. That's probably why it was my favorite. But for bartending, all you had to do was pass out beers from a fridge, because there was cocktails, but there was never the right ingredients to make the cocktails, so no one asked for cocktails. And there were smoothies, but I think we were only making smoothies for ourselves. We very seldom ever had people actually order the smoothies. So super easy. And the cleaning, all we had to do, in hostels everyone cleans their own dishes. All we had to do was put them away and wipe down surfaces. So absolutely loved that. And you know, no one's like up your butt watching you. It was such a social experience, especially when you're behind the bar, because you're there for 5 hours. So I would like scroll on my phone, watch YouTube, journal, DJ for the whole pool. That was probably my favorite part, is because obviously you had the view of the whole pool and you could play anything you wanted. So sometimes I would do Spanish music, sometimes I would do rap, a lot of Key Glock, Kodak, and no one was gonna say anything because I was in charge. I was in charge. Okay, let's just jump right into the accommodation, because I need to get this out of the way. The accommodation was dirty, dingy, dusty, and I will say for almost all of the Worldpackers I've done, except except for 1 or 2 of them. The accommodation is never that good. Like, you cannot expect to have a nice room, okay? So when we first got there, maybe I'll insert a video of when I first got there, but I almost went into a full panic attack mental breakdown because it was dirty, disgusting. It was a twin crickety bed, and at first, so it was like me, Sydney, and then our other roommate that we met, Mora, and he's from Germany. So at first we had this random other man in our hostel room, but obviously we became friends with him. The bed itself was so rickety that when I was on top at first, like the first night, I couldn't toss and turn because the whole entire room would ricochet with that sound.
We have been staying in not the best of rooms, but we finally got upgraded. So I'm gonna show you guys our old room and our new one. This is our outside. Like, are you terrified? Because I have been. Like, look at that mattress. And the bathroom. But let me show you the new crib.
Actually ended up sleeping side by side like little sardines in our twin bed the entire month we were there. We were there from September 6th to October 15th. So we were there for a decently long time, and that was a perfect time to go. It did rain a lot because I think that's the rainy season, so at nights it was raining, but I definitely would recommend going during that time because it was really hot, warm, nice, lovely. But back to the accommodation. Definitely don't expect too much for the volunteer rooms. It's just more about the people and the experiences. We did get upgraded to a slightly nicer room, which was just a bigger room with more volunteers. And we had this one volunteer who, I swear, she was like working with the devil or something. She was very, very odd. We also met Carla and Bon. Those are 2 other people that we met through the experience, and those are now like my best friends. The biggest thing you can take away is if you want to meet your people, or just fucking incredible people that you want to invite to your wedding and your funeral type beat, then this is the experience for you, because this is how I've met some of my favorite people ever. But yeah, that room was actually horrendous. Like, I did really like sleeping side by side with Sydney. That was nice. It was a party hostel, so that was a huge part of the life, which I really liked. We were drinking every single day, like cacique shots, Adamieva, cans, whatever. So we would work, we would get off at I think like 8 or 9, and then we would go over to the other one called Casa Walaba. They're like conjoined, and we would just party there. Then we'd go to this thing called Clan Vibes, which is a big smoky club, and the town is really small, but such a fun partying area, because then you would just wake up the next day. I don't know how I didn't get a single hangover while I was there. We would wake up, go to the beach, swim in the ocean, eat. We ate out almost every single day because the food was so cheap. We ate so much gallo pinto, really anything. The portions were huge, so me and Sydney would get one meal and then share it, and so cheap. Like, I feel like we barely spent any money while we were there besides shopping. And yeah, it just that lifestyle every single day. Beach, work, but it was really just fun work, talking to your friends, meeting people, serving a few beers, maybe wiping a table, club, beach, club, work, beach, club, work. It just was absolutely phenomenal, and yeah, I really loved it. Like, now that I'm talking about it, I always think this is one of my favorite experiences that I've done. Definitely take the social experiences and just ignore the accommodation, because it's worth it for what you get. But now we're going to talk a little bit about safety, because this is we went to a lot of dangerous places, but everywhere in the world is dangerous depending on how you carry yourself and the specific areas you're in, if that makes sense. It was definitely a reality check the first month we got there. Sydney got robbed at gunpoint like the second week I think we were there, but she was out in the jungle and there was no way of knowing. We just didn't know the area that well, and although it was a very, very horrible situation, I think that everything happens for a reason, and it made us be so much more vigilant. Like, now when we go out, we're a lot more aware of our surroundings, what area we're in, are we on our phone. Like, oh my god, one time, when we were going through San Jose, which I want to say is the capital of Costa Rica, unless I'm just gonna sound like a dumb idiot, but when we were going through there, we were in such a dangerous part. Our bus got in, it was like 10 p.m. I had my pink rolling suitcase. Neither one of well, she didn't have a phone, because obviously my phone didn't work because I didn't have a SIM. I was being an idiot. I didn't have a SIM, so all we had was her MacBook, so we had that out, and we're like walking through the streets. We couldn't find where our hostel was that we were staying at for the night. There was people catcalling us all over. This truck even pulled over and was like,
"This is not a safe area, like you shouldn't have your computer out like that."
We're like, what do you want us to do right now? So I think that throughout the way we've learned a lot about safety and being aware of your surroundings, but take it with a grain of salt, because we were never expecting that to happen. And honestly, that was the most dangerous thing that we came across, because after that we started being more vigilant and safe about what we were doing. Okay, so like I keep saying, the people is the most important part, or yeah, the people are the most important part. So one of the people we met we met this girl named Francesca, who is actually from Buffalo, New York, and she was volunteering at a different Airbnb yoga thing down the road, and we met her out. I can't even remember how we originally met her, but there is just so many amazing people. Like, I talk to Franchise every single day, Carla almost every day, like everyone I've met while traveling. Lenny, we met this girl named Lenny, she's from Germany, we met her there and then we went to stay with her in Germany. It just opens so many doors. That's like, if you're taking anything from this, if you're living in your hometown, your small hometown, and you don't have a lot of friends, or you only have your college or high school friends and they're just not cutting it for you anymore, then travel, because I promise you, you will meet people who will completely exceed your expectations in a friendship. I met one of my future boyfriends, so we'll see if we end up together, I hope. For every Worldpackers, sometimes they come included with food. We had one in Guatemala that was included with food, but the one in Costa Rica was not included. I think it depends. Honestly, oh no, yeah, in Portugal it wasn't provided either. So it just depends on what you're wanting. If you're really wanting to budget, then I would recommend choosing one that has food included. But it was our first one, so we honestly weren't too worried about that. We just went out, we had our own volunteer area in the shelf, and we just cooked together every day. It was really nice because if I was working behind the pool, Sydney would make me food and bring it to me, or if she was working, I would be on dinner duty. So that's again what I'm saying. It's really nice if you have a friend who wants to do it with you, because it made the experience 10 times better. And just having someone, a comfort person, especially because everything you're going to be doing is so out of your comfort zone. Like, I remember, oh my god, the very first shift we ever worked, we actually got in trouble because our roommate Morat, like, he was fucking out to get us, but he was like, oh, I know your shift is starting in 2 hours, but come with me, I'll take you to the waterfall, like, we'll be back in time. So we're like, okay, yeah, it's our second day in Costa Rica. We get on the back of his bike, we go 20 minutes to some waterfall. It's phenomenal. He's like creating this content edit of it. I should scoot over so I can put stuff over here, but it was incredible. So yeah, we were doing that, and then it was Sydney's first day as bartender, so we were like, oh, we've got to go, we're gonna be late. And he's like,
no, it's fine. So
we finally get going. As we're about to leave, this guy comes out and he's like, oh, do you want this coconut filled with pina colada? Hello, yes we do. So of course we ended up being late, and when we got back, our boss, she was not the nicest lady I've ever met. She was younger than us by a year, I think, or she was like around the same age. And she basically like creamed us for being late, which is totally understandable because as our first day we should have been more on our P's and Q's. But how can you pass up a waterfall and a pina colada and a coconut on your first day on the job? Like, you can't. That's the whole experience, and I'm glad we did it because it was so much fun. I will say the bosses is another reality check. We didn't really have any good bosses except in Germany. The recent one we did in Bad Salzig, actually the best boss ever. I would recommend going there solely because of him. He was incredible, but I'll talk about that in that specific experience video. Our boss here was just a bitch. Like, ended up actually leaving, I think, a week early. Not because of her, but because we had places to be. Like, we were there, so we were planning on staying for 4 weeks, and on our 3rd week there, we heard everyone talking about Panama and Bocas del Toro, and that's something I had never heard about. I'm from South Carolina, not a lot of people from there, and I was from Virginia before there. Not a lot of people travel to unique places, and so when I heard about Bocas del Toro, like Filthy Friday, we were like, oh, we have to go. So we went. It was so much fun. It's basically where they party hop you on a boat to multiple islands in one day, and you're just drinking. Like, we didn't even bring our phones. Sydney obviously didn't have hers. I didn't bring my phone. We didn't bring any money. We were in the VIP table, of course, hello, and it was so much fun. And that's almost all of our experiences came from learning from people that were already traveling. Like everyone was talking about that, so we were like, oh, we should do that. And if we never went, we would have never done that. And now that's where Sydney wants to have her bachelorette and Filthy Friday, so we'll be back. It's so funny, when we crossed the border, no one told us that you had to have cash, so we didn't have any money crossing the border, and we had to beg this man to like give us money, and he did. One of my favorite things was the sloths. There is sloths everywhere, and I had never seen sloths before this point because where the fuck am I gonna see them? There are so many cool things you could do. There's Coquelas Beach, which is down the way. I would definitely recommend learning how to ride a bike if you don't know, because there was free available bikes for the volunteers, so you could just take the bike out. Yeah, I did a lot of random free events for being an influencer, which I'm not even an influencer, but I would just create content for places. So I did a free cacao tour, which was incredible. I did a random boat tour. This was low-key kind of sus, but this guy took us on his boat to this random place. We crossed the border. I can't believe we did that. I cannot believe we did that. We like had no service when we're going out into the random middle of nowhere. We're like, ah, what's going on? But it ended up being fine and it was really fun. We did a Magic Mike strip show thing. It was just at one of the local restaurants. It was absolutely insane. These are the 5 takeaways that I think are most important for all Worldpackers in general, since this is like the first video I'm making about them, or just workaways in general. It doesn't have to be Worldpackers, but never expect luxury accommodations. This is something I had to learn the hard way. Not that I was expecting something nice, but I was expecting something livable. And yeah, the one we stayed in Guatemala, we actually shared the bathroom with a tarantula, and like if Miss Tarantula was in the bathroom, then we had to pee outside. And now I'm not that scared of spiders, so everything happens for a reason. Focus on the experiences and the people you meet. I feel like I could beat this horse till it's dead. Wait, I think that's an expression, but I don't want to use that, so I take it back. But basically, it's just all about the people you meet. Some jobs may suit you more than others. For instance, this one that I did in Puerto Viejo, I absolutely loved. And we did one in Santa Teresa where we were receptionists, and I hated that job. Like, if the boss could have fired me, she would have, and if I could have left, I would have. Like, I hated it. And so it just depends on your work and things like that. Maybe I'll make a video about that one as well. But that wasn't a Worldpackers experience. That when we were in Santa Teresa, that was one where we reached out to a bunch of people on Instagram and just finding people's WhatsApp and saying like, hey, can we come and volunteer for you? And that's how a lot of people do it outside of having like Worldpackers or an app. So you can also just reach out to specific places through Instagram, and that's how we found one of ours as well. Being social and adaptable is key. I think it's really nice. It definitely showed me how to be really social. I remember every night we would do, or every like once a week we would do karaoke nights, and people come and go in hostels, and some people don't want to sing. So who was singing almost every night? Me and Sydney were up there singing Valerie like we were Adele. Like, it was our job. I mean, it basically was our job to entertain people. And obviously we'd been drinking, so them juices was flowing. Lastly, safety is important. Obviously, just plan ahead and be cautious. I think the situations that happened to us / her really taught us to be safe and grateful for each other and vigilant of our surroundings. I'm like saying the same thing again, but you know what I'm saying. Yeah, that is my full experience on my stay or my time in Puerto Viejo working as a bartender in Costa Rica. I could actually not recommend it more, and I'm so excited to do this series because I'm going to tell you guys about Santa Teresa next, and then I'll tell you guys about Guatemala, which was a whole thing in itself, Portugal, and then our recent one in Germany. And I think I'm going to be doing another one soon, so maybe I'll film that one kind of more live action. But yeah, I've had so many people hit my DMs asking for it. Use my code Teagan if you want to use Worldpackers, or just DM people on Instagram, whatever is floating your boat. And yeah, leave any questions below because I would love to answer them. Ciao Bella! Even though the video is over, I actually just had this idea that I'm gonna go through my pictures and show you guys random pictures with stories behind them, because I think that will be fun, and there's so much just to say about this whole volunteer experience. So okay, first of all, for reference, you can't even see my fucking iPad. This is where we're staying, Puerto Viejo, and the water was crystal blue, completely still, phenomenal. Oh, this is a story time I actually do want to tell you guys. I don't know if I'll be able to find a picture of him because I don't think we even took any. But the very first day we got there, we were on the beach, right? And we were walking and we saw this dog. This dog is following us. We love dogs, so we were all excited. Anyways, the dog's name ends up being Life. His owner's name is Earth. So Earth... Earth is this local that lives there. He lives on the beach. I don't think he even has a home in Puerto Viejo, because anytime we saw him, which was almost every day, he was just chilling on the beach. Like, he was the local man. And when we first met him, first of all, he gave us like palm readings and he was telling us crazy shit about our lives. Like, he was saying some stuff to Sydney that I was like, does he know us? Like, what's going on? And yeah, every time we ended up seeing him at the beach, it was so sweet. Like, every time we saw him, we'd be like, oh, can you watch our stuff? And he would watch our phones, pretty much just our phones, like phones, our little bags, while we went and swam in the water. It was super safe. We didn't think anyone was gonna rob us at the time. They did end up robbing us, but yeah, it was super nice to have him there because he was just watching our stuff, and he was our spiritual guide. Except anytime he would say something bad about, I can't even remember what he would say. He would say stuff either bad about himself, and then he'd be like, he'd slap himself and he'd be like, don't say that. Stop saying that. So I think he was a little cuckoo, but we loved him. For working out, we started doing these yoga classes at Amacer, and it was up on the hill, and it was super nice. But honestly, the yoga classes we did the most were the ones where you just lie there and they do these bells around your head. So it was never like we were getting fit. It was just for the vibes, and the scenery was absolutely phenomenal. So this is a picture of the food. Like, this is the gallo pinto. I could shove this whole thing in my mouth right now. It's making me salivate. I can't even speak right. But yeah, that's like the epitome of what we were eating almost every day, and I would go back and eat it 10 times over again. If you do this Worldpackers experience, you need to go to Ola Boba. We were going to Ola Boba actually every single day before our shift. It was a $5 boba. Incredible flavors. Like, they had a banana cacao slushy one that, oh my god, actually every day we would get it. It was so good. And this yellow cat, this is Rubiette. Yeah, Rubiette. We ended up naming her that, but she was a super cute cat that was there just hanging out with us every time we worked. Oh, this makes me so reminiscent. Like, I absolutely loved this trip and this time in my life. And it's so funny because this was like a year ago, and it feels like just yesterday. And you never know you're living in the best time of your life until you're in it. Like, right now, I physically feel like I'm living in the best time of my life, but this was also the best time of my life, and every moment of my life is just the best time of my life. Okay, yeah, I'm gonna stop blabbing.